and accuse you of things. Now that part I cannot defend against, but this also happens, or maybe it happens, it starts with the data and it goes to the beating, or it starts with the beating and it goes to the data. I just wanted to give credit to beating and arrested is still the most common method used in the world according to my research. And so I wanted to mention just one pair of citizen journalists. They have a lot of names. Again, like people give me names. Video bloggers. They've been called youth activists in Azerbaijan. Amin and Adnan. I've spoken to a very good friend of theirs. I can't speak to them. They're in jail. They're in jail in Azerbaijan. They've done video as video bloggers. They're very into youth organizing. They make websites, a couple of different themed ones about debate and things that the Azerbaijani government doesn't like, you know, debate. They also don't like democracy. That's one of the other things they don't dig. And one day they're in a restaurant eating, and some guys walk in. This is such an easy story to tell. Walk in and start messing with them, insulting them, and eventually it comes to physical. And they get hit. There's a fight. The cops pick them all up, put them in jail, let the guys who walked in and beat them up go soon after, not immediately, but soon after, and hold these two video bloggers and ask them questions about their activities, ask them tons of questions about their work online. What is this online organizing? And they're held in jail since July on no charge. There was eventually a charge. It came out in like October, and it's the charge of hooliganism. They're hooligans. Which apparently you can be held for I don't know how long. And the trial is still in process. It takes quite a long time in Azerbaijan. But again, here we have video bloggers, might not call themselves journalists all the time, but in the eyes of the government, they're some kind of a threat, and they're worth watching, and when you get a chance, they're worth picking up on the charge of whatever, hooliganism. So that one is still pending, and they're still in jail, unfortunately. Interesting thing, they did give one a chance to leave. I think Amin was given a choice to leave, and he refused. He said, if you don't let my friend go, my partner, whatever you want to call him, I'm not going anywhere, which I thought was interesting. The old divide and conquer thing didn't really work. I don't know, just thought I would say that. I don't know, I had a picture of a guy with a megaphone, so I put that in. Data confiscated, data confiscated. Another one that's really hard to find examples of. People get their data confiscated and then given back, and they're not sure, you know, how far the government got or the authorities got. Colombia is an interesting case, and I could have chosen plenty. I chose Claudia out of everybody. I don't know Claudia. She doesn't know me. She'd be surprised that I was doing this. Yeah, she would. Claudia is a journalist for a radio station, an online radio station in Colombia. Interesting country, right, for press. And because she's doing reporting on human rights, the government puts her under this program, the Protection of Journalists program, or the Journalist Safety program. Note to self, if you ever get asked to be in a journalist safety program, say no. Yeah, because it means the opposite. It's like my exciting tales. So I don't even know if she had a choice. She gets put in the journalist safety program by the Colombian Ministry of, you want the official name? Ministry of Assholes. No. It has an A in it, but I couldn't look. There's a clock in the way. It means that you get bodyguards because you're in Colombia, and you get monitored for your own safety. And so it turns out, over the course, this started in 2004, it's still going now, somebody in the, what did I call it? The Journalist Safety Committee, whatever it's called, leaked emails, information as to where she travels. Well, that one is easy to leak. And then while she was away, they accidentally broke into her house and took some documents. And she discovered this when she came home and it was broken into. And she's trying to take them to court, but it's a little hard to take the government to court when something they're not supposed to do because they're supposed to be protected. Yeah. So to this day, Claudia remains under the protection of this, I'm going to call it insane if I could go out on a limb, insane committee to protect journalists under the Colombian government, and the Colombian government claims that it's not their fault. They were infiltrated by paramilitaries, which, as we all know, are a bunch of parrots that go into your house and take everything. No, they're not. That joke didn't work the first time. You guys are going to love this one. Look, you know what that is? It's abstract art. Now, I threw this one in. Did I misspell it? Probably. I threw this one in because Lily Sussman, you ready for this? You've all talked about this here and there. Lily Sussman's a student, and she found herself working in Egypt, part of a university work program with refugees. Actually quite noble. As I went reading, I thought, oh, this girl's more than just a college party person. She's a noble, pretty noble person, huh? In my opinion. And she's in Egypt for like 6 months. I was reading all her posts about it, right down to which farm animals she was disappointed were getting executed on this special holiday where animals are executed. So, you know, you might say not much of a journalist, and journalists might say, that's not much of a journalist. Lily herself probably doesn't think she's a journalist, but she did report about issues. Cultural, tourism, she wrote for Boston.com for briefly, a couple of posts. And she's crossing Egypt into Israel. Immediately you can see where this is going. And a cow stepped on her computer. No, I had to do something, because the going in a straight line doesn't work for me. So she goes, and you've heard this story. I'll let her tell it, I think. Lily, tell it, please. She will tell it. And begin. Oh, they're words.
Well, you go through the Egyptian side, and it's really simple, and everyone's really good-natured, and they're like, oh, you speak Arabic, ha-ha. And then you get to the Israeli side, and they're like, hi, like, who are you? From the beginning, they were kind of cold to me. They asked me if I was Jewish, and I'm like, yeah, my family is partly Jewish. So they started quizzing me on the Jewish holidays, which I know nothing about. And I found it kind of funny, and I was smirking, and the girl was obviously kind of offended. And she also asked me why I would live in Egypt and not Israel. They put my things through their scanners. They said, okay, it's just going to be a little bit longer. You can go wait outside. There's this beautiful deck overlooking the Red Sea. So I'm out there, and like, I know they have my computer, but I have no idea what they're doing with it or why. So I hear an announcement that it was basically just like, passenger has suspicious belongings, there's going to be gunshots, don't be alarmed. So, you know, I hear a couple gunshots, and this guy comes out and introduces himself as the manager, and he's basically just like, sorry, but we had to blow up your laptop. I asked why, and he just said it was suspicious, and we have security concerns, and it's how we do things. He didn't give me any specific answer why. Oh, I was furious. I was yelling, cursing, crying. They said he used the word blown up, so when I see my laptop and it has 3 bullet holes in it and it's still this like cohesive computer, I was actually like, oh, like maybe something's okay, and it turned out my hard drive hadn't been hit, so it was actually happy. The whole thing was not
what have I got, 5? Okay, I skipped the Twitter thing, forget Twitter. But hello to Twitter. By the way, they offer her a full refund for the computer. I'm guessing the original value, or hopefully enough to buy one. But she has to fill out the paperwork in time, which apparently is, you know, so she may not get a new computer. Again, here we have a case of somebody who wouldn't even be considered a journalist by most, although we're evolving in who's a journalist and how we understand where journalism can come from. But here we have someone that nobody would consider needing protection. But the Committee to Protect Bloggers decided, yes, she is. And I agree. She was doing reporting. Could have happened to anyone, but it happened to someone who happens to publish things online. And by the way, they looked through her notes, and they read through her diary, I guess a paper diary, and they found entries about Palestine. She took a photo of, it said, on a wall, it said, fuck, and then it had the Star of David, a graffiti. And the guard goes, why'd you take a picture of this? Or maybe the face wasn't like that.